Good morning. Thanks to everybody here for joining us today. It's nice to do something proactively once instead of reactively, which unfortunately with the topic that we're going to talk about happens on a fairly regular basis. So to be proactive on a safety topic is really important to us, and we're genuinely thankful that you all attended today. So I am Westborough Fire Chief Patrick Purcell, and I also serve as the president of the Fire Chiefs Association of Massachusetts. With me this morning are State Fire Marshal John Davine, and also who's going to speak is Stephen Coleman, Chief of Department, Town of Auburn. The state's fire chiefs are committed to fire and life safety for all of our residents and communities. Toward that end, we're partnering with the State Fire Marshal and the Department of Fire Services on an important campaign this fall. It centers on smoke alarms, choosing the right alarms, replacing them when necessary, and an equally important topic today, disposing of these detectors the right way. One of the most frustrating and heartbreaking events we encounter is a fatal fire at a home with disabled smoke alarms. All too often, we find alarms in their brackets with the batteries no longer operable or no batteries at all. 10 years ago, the State Fire Code adopted an important new requirement to address this very issue. It mandated that replacement smoke alarms in most homes have a sealed, long-life battery as well as a hush feature. These modern alarms eliminate the risk that someone might actually remove the batteries to end a nuisance alarm or to put them in another device, and they work extremely well. But smoke alarms are like any other appliance. They don't last forever. Right now, the alarms that were purchased and put into service 10 years ago are reaching their end of their useful lifespan. Our concern is that a wave of smoke alarms in homes across Massachusetts won't be reliable much longer, typically beyond December. We're here to spread the word that these alarms have to be replaced, just like any smoke alarm that is 10 years old. Every spring and fall, we push out a message to change your clocks, check your alarms, and change your batteries. But there's actually no need to wait until daylight savings time ends. If you can't remember the last time you checked your smoke alarms, then please go home and check them all tonight. The manufacturing date is printed on the back of the device. If it's more than 10 years old, we ask that you replace it right away. If it's not 10 years old and it takes alkaline batteries, this is a great time to put fresh batteries in to make sure that you're all set, safe, and ready to go throughout the entire winter. To talk a little bit more about this, I'd like to introduce State Fire Marshal John Davine.
Thank you, Chief. Last year, almost 40% of the state's residential fire deaths took place between October and December. And tragically, we found working smoke alarms at only 1/3 of those deadly fires. At every level of fire service, we want to make sure that you and your loved ones know what to look for when choosing and replacing your alarms. First, choose a new alarm from a well-known national brand. Unfortunately, we've seen plenty of no-name smoke alarms sold online that don't meet the fire code and may not protect you in an emergency. If the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. For most homes in Massachusetts, the fire code requires that replacement alarms have a sealed, long-life battery and a hush feature. As Chief Purcell pointed out, this will prevent someone from using the batteries for the TV remote or removing them when you burn your toast. As an added benefit, using these alarms means you won't have to change the batteries for 10 years. We strongly recommend alarms that meet the UL standard 217 8th edition or later. These devices use the latest multi-criteria technology. This helps to prevent nuisance alarms caused by cooking smoke. And please look for this language on the packaging or the product specifications. When you're installing your alarms, be sure they're on every level of your home. 60% of last winter's fatal fires took place in the overnight hours when most of us were sleeping. So place them on the ceiling in each bedroom and the hallway outside of each bedroom. And if you hear that alarm, get out, stay out, call 911 to get us there as fast as possible. Finally, we want to urge folks to check in with their parents, grandparents, and older friends and neighbors. fatal fires are most common in older single-family homes. That's not because these homes are dangerous or because newer homes are safer. Most often, it's because these older homes have been occupied for decades without anyone checking, maintaining, or replacing smoke alarms. And sadly, older adults who live in these homes are the ones that are at the greatest risk. Please, if you need a hand with any of these actions, or if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact your local fire department. The Department of Fire Services issues grants each year to help install smoke alarms for older adults, and there's probably a program near you in your city or town. There's one more aspect of the smoke alarm issue we need to discuss. So I'd like to ask Chief Coleman from the Auburn Fire Department to come to the podium.
Thank you, Marshal Davine. We've talked a lot today about replacing our alarms as they reach their expiration date, but we also need to address disposing of the old ones. When it comes time to get rid of your outdated alarms, we ask the public to please do it responsibly. Alarms with sealed batteries, like the ones that Chief Purcell and Marshal Davine mentioned, use lithium-ion batteries. These batteries are everywhere, and they power hundreds of devices that you use at home, work, and school. In fact, this year's theme for Fire Prevention Week, which began this past Sunday, is dedicated to lithium-ion batteries. These batteries have a high energy density, meaning they pack a lot of power into a very small device. If they're damaged, they can go into what's called thermal runaway, a rapid, violent chain reaction with sparks, flames, and even explosions. That's why sealed battery smoke alarms should not go into your household trash or recycling. If they're crushed or punctured in a compactor truck or at a transfer station, they could cause a fire that's very difficult to extinguish. As lithium-ion batteries have become more common, we have started to see more fires in these trash and transfer stations. And it's a safe bet that the root cause is battery damage. Most communities offer some type of hazardous waste collection events throughout the year. This is the perfect place to bring your sealed battery alarms and other lithium-ion devices. You can also go online to find a safe battery recycling location near you. Visit www.calltorecycle.org. That's CALL, 2, recycle.org. Working smoke alarms can be the difference between life and death. I want to thank FCAM and DFS for drawing attention to this important issue. And I really want to thank you, our friends in the media, for covering it. Let's not wait for the next tragedy to strike. Let's reach everyone in Massachusetts with this urgent message. Working smoke detectors save lives. We can answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.